We'll be discussing on how to select a place for your commercial retail aspect, retail business, and what kind of a psychology is affecting it from the owner side as well as the customer side. We should look into this in a wider angle. So this video on retail aspect would should be longer, or it might be in parts. I would suggest you to go through all the parts. Now, when it comes to a retail sector, when you are in a retail outlet, there are a lot of things which one has to look into. Retail, the retail aspect varies from each product to each product. It varies a lot. It can be, food industry retail will require a different kind of place. Uh, a store like a jewelry store, retail place would require a different kind of a place. A place for garment store would be different. A mobile store will be different, or any other various industries are there. So one has to look into one by one. I cannot cover so many. Let me see one or two. Maybe you can look into it with whatever business you're doing. Let us see. Let us see in the case of a retail store, maybe a garment store. Let us pick up a garment store. When in garment store, people like, okay, should we buy in the ground floor or in the first floor? See, nobody today would like to climb one floor to come to you. A ground floor is always preferred. If at all you have a bespoke, if you have a bespoke kind of business. Bespoke means where you are doing made to order, or you have an exclusiveness, where some people have a boutique. Their first floor works out, or their ground floor doesn't work, because ground floor you cannot hear the sound of the traffic. People will just come, barge in and go. Window shoppers. For that kind of a place, a first floor is really suitable for a person who is running a bespoke boutique store. So there, a first floor does nice. Similar it is for a beautician, or for a what you call, or for anybody who's running a beauty salon. For them, a first floor is really suitable. A ground floor doesn't suit them, because in ground floor you'll have traffic noise and people come in and go. For you to keep your place clean is slightly difficult in the ground floor. There, first floor you need to look in. So these two businesses we need to look into. In that, how to look into, we'll speak about later. But when it comes to retail store, in a retail store, like a garment store, it should be on the ground floor. And here again, your adequate size of the property is really, really important. Many people, they just take a 10 by 10 or 10 by 20 and try to run a retail store. My dear friend, today when somebody is coming to buy a cloth from you, he likes to experience the product. He likes to move around in the property. How will you display your products? You just can't keep it in the rack. How can you design? So, for a retail store, for garments, you should have an adequate size. A smaller size is a no-no. It can be only used if you are just selling one or two products. Like if you're selling only jeans for gents, their products are less. So 100 to 200 square feet is okay. Or you're just selling only shirts for men, that's okay. But when you come to sell for various products, you need a larger place. Now, when you're taking a larger place, people again think, okay, boss, some people who are looking into Vastu point, they say, I want north facing, I want east facing. Again, here I see people making mistakes. Sir, if you have a north facing, where will you keep your cash box? Obviously, you have to keep in the southwest. And when southwest means the end of your store, many times you'll see people picking up the material and running away from there. People will steal from your place. So it is advisable to go in for a south facing or a west facing if you are looking into Vastu concept. In Vastu concept, what happens? Your cash box should be in the southwest part of your property. It should be at the entrance of the store. So when you have the entrance of the store, you see people buying, and before going, they meet you, they pay the bill and go. So you should be in the extreme starting of the property. So what happens? Automatically, if you're buying a south facing property or renting a south facing property and west facing property, automatically you can place your cash box towards the southwestern part. So this one needs to understand if you're looking at a Vastu point. If not, keep your cash box towards the entrance and ensure that whoever leaves the place has to pass you and go. This is how one has to maintain. I have seen many people, especially in garment store, a lot of things are being stolen. Your CCTV will not help you. You can only know who's picked up, but how will you catch them? Plus, at the same time, what happens when you are in the end? Another psychological impact. The customer feels that I have to go all the way in to speak to the customer. They will just see outside and they will just while away. You won't see people coming into your store. If the owner or if the cashier is at the beginning of the property, psychologically you look into any store, people will start walking in. So I'll be discussing one by one on retail. So this is my first video. My second video will follow. Vishal V. Parwani from SSB Properties, 9611107558.